So Sunday, does anybody have any questions? Because like now that I'm actually sitting down to talk about it, I'm just like, what? What do I say? I don't know. So I drove down. It was about a 3-ish hour drive, maybe a little less, down to Bloomington. And oh, I'll get there, Emne. Also, hi. Yes, going to dinner was probably the highlight of the night. Um, I think I have to sneeze. Maybe not. Anyway, drove down. I went down first thing in the morning because I was like, I just want to get there and, don't want to have to run into traffic and everything. So, and I didn't even have to really be anywhere until like 2:45. Um, Excuse me, but I'm kind of glad I came down early because I was able to go out to Woolery Mill and get a feel for the room. Excuse me. And I was finally able to do a soundtrack. Oh, goodness, sorry. I was finally able to do a sound check. Poor sound guy could not get sound out into the house until we were there for like 45 minutes. And it was getting kind of close to when we needed to go out to the statue. And I was like, I need to know if I'm going to be able to hear my backing tracks. So we got to get this sound check done. Like, I was pretty insistent. And I did not want to leave it to chance. So we finally got it done, and it turns out I was able to hear them just fine. It wasn't perfect, but as long as I was able to hear the beat, whether I was like, I'm not super picky. As long as I can hear the backing track while I am playing, that's all I need from a sound guy. Is like, I just need to know if I'm in time and if I'm in tune. That's all I need. So, because I trust the sound guy to get a good mix between the two. So we got that done, and I met Mary and Peter, who are the people kind of in charge of the Janeway Collective, who put together the statue. It was their idea, and they helped maintain it and everything. Yeah, tech issues are super stressful. So we got that done, and I met Mary and Peter, and then went out to the statue, and there was already a bit of a crowd there. I got there about an hour before I actually had to play. And in the meantime, I had not eaten lunch yet. And it was like 1:45 at this point. And so I'm standing there out at the statue, and I'm like, hey, the Janeway statue is actually on Google Maps. So I ordered Jimmy John's. And I stood there and I waited for the Jimmy John's, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to show up right when I'm playing. This is going to be a disaster. But like, it was the only way I could think of that I was going to be able to get lunch, because I had to go immediately from the statue as fast as I could to the Woolery Mill, which is where Kate did. Oh, hey, Janeway 82, welcome. I take it that you found me from Sunday at the statue, just judging by your username. So I had to go immediately out to the Woolery Mill, which was kind of like this wedding venue kind of thing, where they had the presentation where they did like the Q&A with Kate Mulgrew and everything. And I had a lot longer set out there. It was kind of like prelude music as people were coming in and stuff. Curious how Mary and Peter asked me. Well, they saw my video that I made last August in 2021. Time has no meaning anymore. In 2021, I went out there with Rick and Brittany to see the statue, and I'm so happy I did this. But it was like, we went out on a Sunday, and it was like Thursday, and I was like, what would be super fun? If I recorded a music video in front of the statue, because why not? Like, it'd be kind of fun to do. So, I whipped up the arrangement like for flute quartet, because I can do that pretty quick anymore, especially if the piece is one that I know really well and it's pretty simple. I really enjoy arranging for flute ensemble. I have quite a few of my arrangements up for sale now. But I arranged it for flute choir, and I lugged my entire collection of flutes out to the freaking statue, which, looking back, I'm like, why did I have to put Why did I have to write that bass flute part? I had to carry that stupid thing all the way out to the statue, but I'm so glad I did it because that video, when I posted it to Facebook, got shared to so many Star Trek groups, and it went probably the most viral of any video I've ever posted to any platform, except for maybe TikTok. But yeah, it got shared and it got shared and shared and shared, and the Janeway statue people saw it and they're like, oh my god, we love this, and they shared it and everything. It even got as far as Amy, Kate Mulgrew's assistant, her like social media manager. So she actually saw that video as well back then. And so fast forward to when they were planning on having Kate come out and play, and they're like, hey, we loved your video. Like, cause I kind of got to know them a little bit after that, cause you know, I friended them and everything. And I even went to one of their little Zoom meetings where they were just talking about the statue and stuff. And so they contacted me several months ago saying, hey, we're having Kate Mulgrew come out to the statue to visit, and we'd love to have you provide entertainment. And I'm just like, yes. Like, oh my god, yes. And she was like, oh, we can't really afford to pay you or anything. And I'm like, I don't care. You're paying me in this. I don't care. Like, this is one of the few times where I don't care if I'm not getting, like, if I'm getting paid in exposure, because, you know, professional artists and musicians hate that. But in this case, like, I got paid in this amazing experience. So, like, I don't care. They did technically pay me. They gave me an autograph ticket, which those were very expensive, and they sold out very quick. So, and I didn't know they were going to do that. So I got to have her sign something. I'll show you what I had her sign in just a minute. Oh, thank you, Janeway82. I assume you were either there or you were watching the live stream. I don't know. It's not letting me scroll up. Oh, here we go. All right. Where was I? So we got out to the statue. I ordered my Jimmy John's, and I thought it would come much sooner and I would be able to eat before I played at the statue, but it came 5 minutes before I went on, so I threw the Jimmy John's bag down into my flute bag, and I was like, I'll eat it in between on the way to Woolery Mill. So I did a sound check. She was there. Awesome. Yay. I think maybe you said that and I forgot. I don't know. My brain cells are still not all the way back. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, and, you know, because I was supposed to start at 2:45, and I got there a little early, so we did a little bit of sound check, and it was a little hairy because of the wind, and flutes and wind do not mix. But I didn't care because I was paying for Kate Mulgrew, so I didn't care. So I started, I felt like I was going to throw up right before I started, because I was like, what am I doing? The imposter syndrome was setting in like crazy, and I was like, these people are going to look at me and go, why is she here? Why isn't Kate here? Like, so I was hoping that, and I read this later in somebody's blog, but apparently, and this just made it all worth it for me. Like, somebody wrote that hearing my music helped kind of keep the atmosphere calm and positive, because all of Kate's security officers were like pacing around the crowd, and it was a little tense to see like her security officer, because they were pretty intense. Like, they were wearing like vests, and they had, you know, like it was intense. So I was happy that my music helped kind of alleviate that tension there. So I played a few songs, and it was so fun to play for a crowd of Trekkies. I will play for any crowd of Trekkies anytime, just anytime. Oh my god, Trekkies are the freaking best. I love them so much. There were people cosplaying. Somebody had this big, like, Xindi, I think he was supposed to be a Xindi insectoid, but he had this like big mask on and he had a Starfleet uniform on and it looked amazing. But I got up there and I started with The Inner Light because I was like, I can't really call myself a nerdy flutist without playing the Resican flute. And as soon as I said that, the crowd just like went nuts. So I was like, oh, it's so fun to play for people who love this stuff as much as I do. So I got through my songs, and other than the wind, I think it went pretty well. And I don't know if it's just because I've been doing this for so long, or if, I don't know, but I was convinced that I would be so nervous that my tone quality would just go down the toilet, because that's happened to me before in like performances, like recitals and things. But I don't know, I've been at this for more than a decade as a professional, so I think that helped. Like I didn't feel so nervous that I was like shaking. I had adrenaline going, but I played well, you know, despite the wind. And I was so pleased that I didn't let my nerves affect my tone quality, and I was able to give a good performance. And that was as much as I could ever ask for this experience. So I did Inner Light, TNG. I figured, you know, I'd only have time for a few songs, so I would hit the big ones, like Inner Light, because I am the nerdy flutist, and the Inner Light is a flute song from Star Trek. How could I not play it? Then I did The Next Generation because it is super iconic. And also I just really enjoyed. Thank you. Also, just because I really enjoy my arrangement that I did of it, and it's really fun. So I did that, and then I did Prodigy, just because I knew Kate was going to be there, and I know how much she loves working on Prodigy, and I love Prodigy, and the theme for Prodigy is so good. Excuse me, goodness, sorry. The theme for Prodigy is so incredibly good, and I love it. So I put together that arrangement just for this event. I haven't even released the sheet music or done a YouTube video or anything. I've just played it on a live stream, and then I played it for Sunday. So I played Prodigy, and then I play Voyager, and I played the flute choir arrangement because I was in front of the statue, so I figured I would do the flute choir arrangement. And all of a sudden, I'm looking out into the crowd because I don't need my music really for this piece. So I'm looking out in the crowd, and I see people's cameras and their phones move from me over. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, Kate's behind me. She's behind me, isn't she? Like, just keep playing. But holy crap, I think Kate's behind me. She's near me, which is like, oh my God. So like, it was kind of weird and surreal to see all the camera people starting to get excited, and they were like moving their cameras over, and I'm like, oh my God, she's standing right there, isn't she? Oh my God, like, just keep playing, be a professional. So I get done, and I step back, I pull all my flutes back and everything, and then the little girl that played young Janeway came out and did her thing. And then Kate came out, and that was insane. Like that, I mean, if you guys were either there or you saw the live stream, that was, I saw everything but from behind, but I was pretty close. Yes, I was playing the Voyager theme when she kind of came up towards the fence. And I went back and watched the live stream today, and the camera guy actually panned over to her during Voyager, and so I got to see her, like, listening to my music, which was like, oh my God. Yeah, so then she came out. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Oh. Talking a lot makes me tired. I'm an introvert, so talking, public speaking, oh my gosh. You know, the thing I was freaking out the most about was not playing music. It was talking in between the songs, because I really hate public speaking. I don't even like talking to the camera. Ugh. All right. So Kate comes out and she does her thing. I'm sure you guys all watched the live stream or have seen footage, so I don't need to talk too much about that. It was kind of cool, like, being that close to her. Especially when she came and looked at the sign. Like, I got a picture, like, from where I was, which was really cool. And it was just a beautiful day. It was like, other than the wind, it was like, I didn't have to bundle up. It was like 75 degrees. So because of the wind, I wasn't boiling in my Starfleet uniform, but I also wasn't freezing in my Starfleet uniform. So that was nice. So I very quickly packed up all my crap. And I grabbed my Jimmy Johns, and I, as soon as everybody was done and Kate left, I went out to my car. But I did see a couple people that I knew from social media. Like, I saw the Duras Sisters podcast girls. I recognized them immediately because I had met them at Mission Chicago. And if you don't listen to the Duras Sisters podcast, shout out to them. They have a really good quality podcast. It's so, like, it's just two sisters talking about Star Trek, and they pick, like, different topics to talk about, and they do a series. But they did a really, really nice recap of their experience on Sunday, and what they said about me made me almost cry in my car on the way to work yesterday. So go listen to their recap. It was very nice, but it was very sweet. It's funny because, like, they were fangirling on me, and I was like, we're colleagues. We're fellow content creators. Like, you don't need to fangirl. Like, what is this? I'm not famous. So I saw them, but yeah, then people were stopping me, telling me how much they liked it and everything, but I was, like, trying to get out to my car so I could get to Woolery Mill on time, and, like, shoveled my Jimmy John's sandwich into my mouth on the way there, which I was only able to really get through half of it, because I was completely adrenaline all day. Like, just, it never stopped. You should look at I wear a Fitbit, and you should look at the heart rate monitor for that whole day. It was, like, I got so many zone minutes, and I didn't work out at all. Like, I got almost 300 zone minutes, if people who have Fitbits know what I'm talking about. But basically, zone minutes are when your heart rate is elevated, and oh my god, it was elevated for, like, the whole day. So I got so many zone minutes on my stupid Fitbit just from, like, the day. I did have one minor disaster that day, but it was minor. But, like, as I was packing up at Woolery Mill to go out to the statue, I noticed that my shoe had fallen apart. I was wearing my LARP boots, and the sole had come undone from, like, a good chunk about this long, and I looked down, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so glad it's not raining today. So, but I was like, I don't have any other shoes with me, so I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with this today. I'm wearing black socks, so that helps. So yeah, that was the one minor disaster I had for the day, which, I mean, if that's the only disaster I had, I'm doing pretty good, right? So I get out to Woolery Mill, and I'm just still adrenaline, because I'm just like, I hope I get there on time. I have to start. And I was supposed to start at 4, but for some reason they weren't letting me start right at 4, and so that's why I had to cut a few of the songs that I had planned, because I think the sound guys were having some issues. I don't know. I started when they told me to start, and I played for about 20-ish minutes. I played a lot of this. I mean, it was all stuff that you've heard on the live stream. The only new song I really had for Sunday was Prodigy, and you guys heard that on Thursday last week. So I played, what did I play? I played Insurrection, First Contact, Lower Decks, Inner Light again. Obviously I played Voyager again, but I did that later. I did Prodigy again. What else did I do? I did Deep Space Nine. Plugged my single a little bit. that crowd was fun to play for too. Like they got excited about me playing the insurrection music and the first contact music, and it was fun. It's such an enthusiastic audience. It was so great. I want to play for all the Star Trek conventions forever because playing for Trekkies is so fun. So I did my set up, and I did up to Prodigy. It is. I love Insurrection. It's so pretty. It's so... You know what? I like Insurrection. People like to poop on that movie, but it is actually my second favorite TNG movie. Don't at me. First Contact will always be my favorite. That is just a tight movie, and it's so great. And it has the Borg and Zefram Cochrane. Like, that movie is perfect. But I love Insurrection. I don't know. I've just always really loved Insurrection. It's certainly better than Nemesis, but that's not saying much. But I digress. All right, so I do my set. Yeah. Oh, I love Generations too. You know what? I love all of them except for Nemesis. But Data's my favorite character, so of course I hate Nemesis. So I play up to Prodigy, and people are probably wondering, why didn't she play Voyager? Don't worry, I'm playing Voyager, you guys. So I get down off the stage, and then they have a few speakers talk. A Jonathan Frakes film produced and directed by Jonathan Frakes. Yes. So I get down off the stage, and there's a few speakers that are speaking about things like Alzheimer's, which is like the whole event was a fundraiser for Alzheimer's, which is a very, very good cause. Except Janeway is in Nemesis. I know. That's one of the good parts about it. And she's an admiral. It's weird that she was promoted earlier than Picard. That seems unrealistic to me, but I digress. So they wanted me to come back up after all the speakers, and they wanted me to play Voyager to play Kate in. So I knew she would come in either during or right after I play Voyager. So I play Voyager. This time I played the flute and piano version just to kind of change it up. And I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was a little bit afraid that I wasn't going to be able to hear my backing track if people were cheering too much. So I went for the piano one because that one's easier to hear for me. And it's just easier. It would cut over a crowd potentially better than flutes. So I know Picard didn't want it. So yeah, I played that, and then as soon as the song was over, the curtain opened and Kate walked up the stairs, and so I actually kind of scooted over, and I was gonna see, I thought I would just have to book it off the stage and just let her, you know, obviously this was all about her, but her, Amy, her manager, kind of blocked the stairs, so I just stood there as Kate, I shared the stage with Kate Mulgrew for a moment, and she soaks in the applause for a minute, and then she turns to me and she's like, "I didn't steal your thunder, did I? Is that okay? Like, I'm sorry I stole your thunder." And I was like, I'm just sitting there going, no, this is all about you. This is all about you. And so she shook my hand, and then she kind of gestured for me to take a bow, and she applauded me, which, like, oh my God, one of my childhood heroes is applauding me. Like, one of my, like, Kate Mulgrew, it's not that I just met Kate Mulgrew. I got to, like, share my music with her, which was so incredibly important. And so just like, oh my God, is this even real? Freaking Captain Janeway is applauding me for my music. Like, the thing that I have devoted my life to. It's like, oh my God, I've died and gone to heaven. Yes. Oh, we'll get there, Celtic Wolf. Oh, so I'm riding that high all the way down the stairs. And She sits down and does the Q&A, and I, because I was part of it, I got to sit in the front row, which was really cool. I got some pictures. I know, it does. Excuse me. Goodness. Public speaking takes a lot out of me. And I know this isn't technically public speaking, but this is a lot more talking than I usually do on a live stream. Oh, I know. Oh, were you one of the question people? That's awesome. Which question was your question? I'm curious. Yeah, so the way they did this Q&A, Amy, her social media manager, sat across from her, and they just sat in these comfy chairs. And what Amy had done was collected questions on social media or something. I don't know actually where they collected questions. I don't know. I knew nothing about that. But she collected questions. And so she was the one asking the questions. It wasn't like a convention where people stood in a line. She kind of pre-screened the questions and had whoever asked the question, if they were present, which I think most of them were, she had them stand. And so that was cool. So she got to talk directly to the question asker, but they didn't have to worry about passing a microphone around and all that stuff. And like the person asking the question probably didn't have to like sit there being super nervous about asking the question, because like, oh my gosh, I've never done that at a convention, mainly just because I've never really had a question that I felt was important enough to get in line to ask a celebrity. Like, I'm not big on like celebrities. I don't get starstruck super easily. Kate Mulgrew was an exception. The first time I met her was actually at Mission Chicago, and I did get incredibly starstruck with her because she is magnificent and a freaking goddess. She is every bit herself as Janeway, as I found out at dinner. Oh, thank you, Celtic Wolf. Oh, that's awesome, Kaylee. Do you go to IU? Or did you drive in? But anyway, yeah, she answered a bunch of questions. She even talked a little bit about, okay, you're from Illinois, so not too terribly far of a drive to Indiana. What did she talk about? She talked a little bit about Orange is the New Black, which I still haven't watched that show, but I kind of want to just watch a little bit of it just to see her in that role. She talked a little bit about Prodigy and how she wants to do live action, but it's, what did she say? It was when people in Hollywood say they're in talks to do something, it's like the equivalent of going on a date and your date saying, "I'll call you afterwards." So we'll see if that happens. Yeah, so she did the Q&A, and I'm sitting there. Oh goodness, it's also kind of late for me a little bit. I pack up all my stuff, and Mary comes up to me and reminds me, or she's like, "Did you look in the envelope I gave you?" She gave me an envelope earlier in the day, and it had an autograph ticket, which I didn't really catch the first time, because it was on this like cute little thing here. So I just I didn't look at the back, but I didn't realize this was a ticket. So she's like, "No, you can get in line for autographs. We got you an autograph ticket." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Let me run out to my car and get the thing that I brought for her to sign, just in case I was able to get an autograph." So let me grab that real quick. So I have several paintings by an artist that is on Instagram that I'm kind of friends with now. Her name is Jenny Johnson. She does Scenes from the Multiverse by Jenny R. Johnson, and I have a Picard painting, and I have this Janeway painting, and yeah. Oh, I don't mind being spoiled on Orange is the New Black. I don't really care that much. But let me take it out of the plastic. I don't know. Will it show if I just leave it in the plastic? But yeah, she signed this painting. Sorry about all the glare. I was actually second to last in line because I took a really long time to put all my crap away and then get this out of the car. Yeah. And she thanked me for the music and everything. And I thought that was the only interaction I was going to get with her. And it was very short, which is fine. Like, I was already reeling of her, like, getting to shake her hand on stage and have her applaud me. I was like, I would have been happy if it was just that, honestly. And so I finally get out of line. I get out of the autograph line, and I'm finally starting to decompress. I'm like, okay, the day is over. I can drive home. I'll go to McDonald's or something at dinner on the way home, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was a great day, but I'm like, I was so tense the whole day that I was just like, oh my God, I'm glad it's over. And then Peter and Mary are standing there as I'm coming out of line, and they pull me aside and they're like, we're going to blow your mind even further now. Would you like to go to dinner with us and Kate Mulgrew? And at this point, I almost cried. I was like, yes. Oh my God. How can I say no? Oh my God. Of course I want to go out to dinner with Kate. Holy crap. Like, the stress levels went way back up at that point. I was like, oh my God, is this even happening to me? Because I had such a short interaction with her, which is, I mean, it was fine, but oh my God. So we got to go to the Irish Lion. It's like it's a really, really well known Irish pub in Bloomington. And if the Irish Lion still exists in 300 years, you better believe Captain Janeway would be going to this restaurant on the regular. I'm not sure yet, Celtic Wolf. I have this whole thing back here with all this stuff, and like my collection of things to hang up on the wall keeps growing, but I like having the flexibility of not having anything on the wall in case I want to film something. And I like having this wall here blank because it looks really nice on the live stream and everything. So I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet. We'll see. For right now, I just have it sitting here. And I'm keeping it in the plastic to keep it nice. For now. Yeah. When I get a new computer and a new desk, I may rearrange this whole room. So I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like, my husband's drum set being in here kind of makes it difficult for me to do anything in here. But this is the only room where he can keep his drum set. I mean, it makes sense. It's the music room, so. Oh my gosh. So I didn't actually drink at dinner, which, because I thought I was going to drive home. But I have like a 3-hour drive home, and the night kept getting later and later and later. And just a spoiler warning, I didn't end up driving home. Somebody who had come in and gotten a hotel room, who was part of the Janeway Collective, she was actually on the board. She had an extra queen bed in her hotel room, and she offered it to me, so thank God. Thank God I didn't have to drive home. But then I'm kind of like, I'm bummed that I didn't get to drink any of the drinks, because like Kate bought wine for everybody and everything, but I was like, no, I gotta drive home and I don't really want to drink. And I was like, my stomach was just in knots, pretzel knots, like all day. I barely could eat anything because of all of just like the stress, and I have stomach issues anyway, so I did take a picture of the drink menu though, so I'll just have to try to recreate the drinks myself, I think. The ones that look interesting. They had Nebula coffee, which was basically just an Irish coffee and had whipped cream in it. So I drive out to the restaurant, and I was actually there kind of early. So I happened to sit in the right seat. I sat right across from, well, diagonal across from Kate, and I was across the table from her partner, boyfriend, whatever he is. His name is Bennett, and he is lovely. Yeah, I know. I'm like kind of kicking myself for not partaking. If I had known ahead of time that I was going to just get to go to a hotel, I would have drank all the drinks. Maybe not all the drinks because I had to move my car still, but like I would have had something. Um I know. I was right across. So yeah, Kate comes in and she sits down and I'm just like, so like I was in so much pain. So much pain at the end of the day. My hips were killing me. I'm sure it was partly because of my shoes being pieces of crap. And also the stress. I'm sure the stress was not helping. And I walked a lot that day. So I'm guessing it was mostly stress, but like my hips were just absolutely killing me. So I took some ibuprofen. But yeah, Kate gets there. And so dinner was not really that relaxing because like I'm sitting there going, holy crap, I'm having dinner with Captain Janeway. What is my life? But yeah. It was so funny when she first got there. The server was taking her drink order, and I watched her order a very specific martini. Like, she knows how she wants her martinis. And it was hilarious to watch because she was very forthright and she knew what she wanted. And she's like, I don't remember exactly what the order was, but she was like, I want a martini with blah, 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 and I want 3 olives and blah, blah, blah. And like, it was like watching Captain Janeway order a martini. It was so funny. And Bennett was ordering one, and he was kind of being picky as well. And like, she elbowed him, and she's like, don't be difficult. Yeah, she drinks martinis. She had 3 olives in it. Emne is like getting all the tea here. So I did end up having a couple of conversations with her. She did the usual, asking me about like she asked me about kids, like if I had any kids, because like that woman loves her some kids. Oh my god, she loves babies and little kids. She's like, if she sees one, she'll just bing, laser focus on the kid. So she asked me, and she's so funny. Kate Mulgrew does not beat around the bush, nor does she like. She's very like blunt. And she was, it was so funny. She's like, oh, how old is she? Oh, do you love being a mother? Do you love your husband? Are you two very much in love? Did having a kid bring you closer? Are you gonna have another kid? I'm like, geez, Kate. I feel like I'm being interrogated. It was a little nerve-wracking. But I showed her a picture of Amelia, and like it was like watching Janeway like see Naomi be born or whoever, or like I don't remember. There's a scene where she's just like, she's beautiful, and then she said that about Amelia, and I just melted. Oh my god, Kate Mulgrew thinks my child is beautiful. Very unfiltered. She is very grandma. Oh man. And I did get to talking to Bennett a little bit, and I was talking about the fact that I like to play Irish traditional, or trad as it's shortened usually, how I like to play that kind of music. And he was like, oh, Kate and I love listening to trad. And I was like, I kind of think I knew that. Like, I knew that Kate really likes like Celtic culture and everything, like Irish culture and stuff. So I told him, I was like, oh yeah, I play. He's like, do you like listening to it? I was like, yeah, I play it too. And he's like, Kate, she plays Irish Chad. And then Kate looks at me and she's like, oh, I would love to hear you play that. Did you bring your flute? I would love to hear you play. I would love to hear you play some Irish. And I was like, it's out in my car. And she's like, oh, you should go get it and play for us. So I was like, ah. So I did get up at one point and I grabbed my penny whistle out of the car just because I figured that'd be the easiest thing to bring into the restaurant. And I just kind of kept it at the table with me. But by the time that happened, the food came and everything, and I really needed to eat because I had had half a sandwich all day, except for breakfast. But I did keep it there and everything. So I had it at the ready. And we, dinner kept going on, and she went over to the other table for a while and talked. So I felt like I could relax just a little bit at that point because she had her attention focused elsewhere. But I mean, she's a person like everybody else. She is very she has an air about her though, but I think that's just the kind of person she is. And I think that's why she was cast as a Starfleet captain. Like, you can't be a Starfleet captain and not have a very commanding personality, like, just in general. I mean, I'm sure I would be I'd probably be even more intimidated if I met Patrick Stewart in person. Like, I would crap myself. Like, I do have kind of a hashtag goal of meeting him someday, and I really want to get the Resican flute. There's a replica on Etsy that somebody makes that's actually playable, and it has the box, and I want him to sign the box. So if I ever get to meet Patrick Stewart, I want him to sign the Resican flute box, and then I might see if I can play Inner Light for him. But that's, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, she was very personable, but also very genuine and very much like Janeway. Like, there is not a whole lot of Kate that's not also like what I've seen on screen before. She is just very, like I said, she's very outgoing and very well spoken and very commanding. She definitely controlled the room. And her voice, like, somebody asked me if she did her Janeway voice, and I'm like, she always does her Janeway voice. That's just how she talks. Like, she talks exactly like Janeway. Like, that's just Kate. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Celtic Wolf. And it's funny, she said at the statue that she got the job on a Thursday and then had to go to work that Monday at 5 a.m. to work on Voyager. And so, like, we got through dinner and everything, and I was talking to other people there too, and I sat next to the lady in charge of Starbase Indy, which is a small fan-run convention in Indianapolis, which I hope to go to, at least for Sunday. I think Random Gotham Rick and Mary might be going, because I think Rick is visiting Mary during Thanksgiving, and that's when Starbase Indy is it's during Thanksgiving weekend. So hopefully they'll be able to squeeze me in to perform, as I didn't know it existed, or else I would have applied months ago to perform there. But definitely I'll do it next year. Like, I want that to be my home con because it's in my backyard practically. I only live a couple hours away from Indianapolis. So I sat next to her, and she sat across the table from Kate. Like, I can't even imagine. But her husband makes like 3D prints these little fidgets, and they made these to kind of promote the con. And so she gave like 4 of them to Kate. And like Kate and Bennett are sitting there like playing with the fidgets all night. And she also made Kate a little like dinosaur 3D print for her granddaughter. And Kate was obsessed with that thing all night. It was so funny. She's like, I love this little dinosaur. This is great. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I bet John Delancey's great. And Gates. I've heard Gates. I mean, they're all lovely. There's not really any Star Trek actors that I've heard of that aren't good with fans. Except for maybe William Shatner. But whatever. I feel like the actors who don't want to go to cons don't go to cons. So, but most of the ones that I've seen go to cons are amazing with fans. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, I'd love to meet Gates. She has such wonderful mom energy. And of course, John Delancey. So yeah, we get through dinner and we're getting ready to get up and leave. And by the time, and it was funny, Bennett and Kate were very concerned that I lived far away and was planning on driving home. And at one point, like, I told Bennett, I was like, yeah, I just didn't expect to come out to dinner, so I thought I'd be on my way home already. And I don't know, I don't have anywhere to stay, so I guess I'm just gonna have to drive home. And he's like, no, you can't drive home. Kate, she has a 3-hour drive home. And Kate, like, she's already talking to somebody else, and she turns around, she's like, do you want me to beam her home? And I was like, I wish. It was so funny. I kind of forgot about that. Do you want me to beam her home? So, and then that's when the Jess, the girl I ended up spending the night with, she offered me the second bed in her hotel room, and I'm like, thank you. And so Bennett was like, I'm so happy. I didn't want you to have to drive home. So, like, yeah, they were like, yeah, just really, they're so nice. Kate, yeah, they're both very, very nice people. So we're all getting up to leave, and I did like mention, I was like, okay, I forgot. I went out to the car and I got the penny whistle because I know you asked, and she's like, oh, everybody stop! She's gonna play. And so I figured everybody's on their way out the door already, so I'll just play something short. So I just played like a couple lines from the Voyager theme, but I like Irished it up and everything, and people were like pulling their phones out. So I hope I can get a video from somebody from dinner. I haven't gotten one yet. I would like it. And then she's like, oh, and she applauds after I'm done. And like, she just books it towards me, and she gives me a big hug afterwards. And let me tell you, Kate Mulgrew gives grandma hugs. Like, that was a good hug. And and then we took a picture after that. And I was so happy because I didn't think I would get a picture that day, because I didn't get a picture ticket. But I got something even better. I got a picture after dinner, and it, like, she had her arm around me and everything. It was like right after she hugged me. So that's why I'm just like beaming in that picture. And then everybody else is taking pictures with her and everything. And then we leave. And that was it. And that was probably the best way to end the day. I ended it on a high. I got a hug and a picture with Captain Janeway. So, and then I went to the hotel room with Jess. Thank goodness. I did have an extra shirt with me because I brought the Dudasaur shirt. Just in case I didn't know if I was going to have a table or anything to display. So I did bring my merch shirt. So I had an extra t-shirt to sleep in. Thank goodness. I had nothing. I didn't even have a toothbrush or anything, but it's fine. I was like, I'm just going to get up and drive home. But I was so exhausted, and I was in a ton of pain by the time we got done with dinner, because, oh my God, dinner took forever. It took them forever to get us our food. But it was all great anyway. It was great restaurant. Except they were out of corned beef by the time I got there. I'm sad. Oh, she asked me what I was ordering at one point, and I was like, I think I'm gonna get the corned beef and cabbage. She's like, good woman, or whatever. I forgot what she said. She was like, crap. Oh, I don't remember. It was something along the lines of good girl or whatever. But I wasn't even able to get the corned beef and cabbage because they ran out. So I got fish and chips instead. The story reminds me of the 21st century Janeway. Yes, I think, doesn't it take place near Bloomington? I think maybe it's in somewhere in Indiana, maybe Illinois. I just remember it being close enough to Bloomington where the Millennium Gate was supposed to be built. So yeah, that's my story of Sunday. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people from that event went to the Irish Lion. I'm sad that I thought I was driving home, so I didn't get to drink any of the cool drinks. So does anybody have any questions before I get off here? Because, man, am I tired. A town called Portage Creek. I'm not even sure if that exists. Oh my god, it actually exists. Huh. Oh wow, that's like way up by the lake. It's not anywhere close to Bloomington. Yeah, that's like way up by Chicago and by Gary. Makes sense that they would build the Millennium Gate close to Chicago, though. Who knows if Chicago even still... Oh no, that was before World War III. The Star Trek timeline is a little crazy because we have diverged from the timeline now. Oh, dinner was the highlight of the day for sure. Absolutely. Although being applauded by her on stage was a high too, I think. Oh man, I think I'm going to say goodnight. It was lovely to see everybody, and I'm glad I still got to play some music for you all. And wow, it took me an hour to tell that story. That was crazy. I'm tired now. All right, let's see if anybody is online. We can raid them. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Emne. Okay, Mira.